Manchester United versus Young Boys. Champions League football is back for Manchester United, and I'm really excited, to be honest, with this game coming up. Now, it's probably on paper it should be the easiest out of the three games that Manchester United could play in the group stage, but it is away in Switzerland and it's on an artificial pitch, so it's probably not going to be the easiest game that you could imagine for Manchester United. Going away to teams like in Switzerland and places like that we saw last season with Basel, it can be tricky for a lot of teams. Now, these teams are sometimes better than they used to be. You do get a few hammerings away, that teams do batter teams away from home, but it doesn't happen quite as often as you might think it would, even with the large spending of a lot of these powerhouses in Europe now. And I'm confident Manchester United can go there and get the required result, but I'm not so sure if Manchester United can go there and put this team to the sword. I'm not too sure. I think that they've won nearly all their games so far this season. I think they're top of the league, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't watched any of their football, so I'm not too sure who their danger men are and how they play or anything like that. So I can't really give too much information on that, but I think that, if I'm not mistaken, I heard that they went to extra time in their previous game at the weekend, so I had to play, I think, 120 minutes. I think they did get the victory, but that may tire them out a little bit going into this one, which we can hope for Manchester United's sake. Now, there are going to be changes for this game. Obviously, Jose Mourinho's got to shuffle the pack for the midweek games. Obviously, this isn't the biggest game in the group. The Valencia and Juventus games, you would think, should be where the group's won and lost. But obviously, if you fuck this game up, you could fuck the group up. So, because the other two teams will probably win this game. So, but obviously Manchester United have got Wolves and then Derby, so we've got another midweek game next week. So we've got to rotate the squad. Valencia is out of this game. Jose Mourinho has decided to rest him, so we will see someone else at right back. Luke Shaw will come back in at left back. So I expect Dave to stay in net. The two centre halves, probably Smalling and Lindelof, will probably keep their place. We'll probably rotate that against Derby. Then obviously Luke Shaw will play at left back, and I've got a feeling he may well go for Darmin at right back. Now, Delo is in the squad and could also feature. Ashley Young could also feature at right back as well, but I've just got a feeling he's going to go with Darmin. I'd much rather see Delo given his first start in that position. It's just it is away in Switzerland on an artificial pitch, which could be a bit tricky, but he has played two games in the under-23s now. Didn't finish the first game, but is looking to get his fitness back up because he was injured at the start of the pre-season, so didn't have a pre-season. So hopefully he can feature. I would prefer for him to feature. Then in midfield, depends what Jose Mourinho goes for. He could well shuffle the pack for this one. Now, he's probably going to pick Fellaini for that game against Wolves with no Matic in the team, so I would choose to drop. I don't want to see Fellaini play against Wolves. I'm not really sure it's the best game for Fellaini. Fellaini did actually have a decent game in the two previous games, but that was probably, them two games suited him more probably than the Wolves game will. But he will play in that one because there's no Matic. So Manchester United probably do need to shuffle the pack in midfield a little bit. I would like to see Fred come back in. He'll probably then go with Matic and Pogba. We've also got Andreas Pereira, we've got Herrera, we've got Scott McTominay, we've got Juan Mata. So many options that Manchester United can play across the midfield and in sort of attacking areas around there. So it is interesting to see what Jose Mourinho goes for in this game, and obviously that game against Derby next week, because he's going to have to shuffle the pack for that, maybe bring the likes of Pereira and Scott McTominay in for that game. Now, then obviously going forward, there has been rumours that potentially Alexis Sanchez could drop out for this game. He probably still needs some minutes because he hasn't really had consistent run of games, because he did miss that, was it the Spurs game, and then obviously coming back, and then he's not been away with Chile, so he didn't play on the international break. So it's been a bit stop-start for Alexis Sanchez, but was good against Burnley, wasn't so good against Watford, so he needs to start getting a bit of consistency in and around his game. But we will have to see. But I think I would go probably Rashford, and maybe go Rashford and Martial on either side. One will have to play on the right, but I would like to see both of them given an opportunity, because we haven't seen nowhere near enough of them this season. He probably won't do that, but just put one on the right, one on the left. They're talented players. They can sort it out. And then obviously Romelu Lukaku's got to be up front because he's the goal machine for Manchester United. Scores against most of the lesser teams. He is a king at scoring against lesser teams. We always said that when Ronaldo was at Manchester United, he was always a king of scoring against the lesser teams. But then Ronaldo did take his game to that next level and started producing it week in, week out against the elite teams as well, which that's the only thing that Romelu Lukaku has done it against the elite teams. At times did score against the likes of Real Madrid last season and Chelsea, but has got to probably improve that a bit and be more consistent like he is against the lesser teams. But I would expect if he plays that he will get a lot of chances in this game against young boys and could potentially put some away. But the only thing is he does occasionally miss a few too many chances, but has still got a very high goal scoring rate for Manchester United, and he's the man we've got to look to provide us with the goals again in this one. But Rashford also in good form on the international break, so hopefully he can continue that. Martial has been so poor this season, but I just want to see him give him some game time at some point, and this could be the perfect game for him to get some game time, and that derby game maybe kick-start his season, who knows. But I think it's going to be a difficult game in this one, probably a hostile atmosphere in Switzerland, so I think Manchester United are going to struggle to get victory in this game, but I think we will come out with it. I'm going to go for Manchester United winning this game 2-0. I think any result, any win will be good for Manchester United in this one because it will start us off with them valuable 3 points, because you're really in this sort of mini league, you really need to win the first couple of games to really kick you on. Whereas in the Premier League, we've had a couple of bad results early on, but you can make it up later on in the season. I know you don't want to lose Premier League points too early because you can be getting a bit far adrift, but in this, if you lose 1 or 2 games early on in this group, the first 2 games you're pretty much snookered, and it's a real difficult ask then to get back and try and claim that first or second position. So you've really got to have a good start in this. It's almost vital. So hoping Manchester United can win. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the game. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon.